Hi, and welcome to another episode of Fitness and Friends. I am your humble host, Dr. Bob Ruano. Today on the show, we have my good friend Adam Muir. Adam is the general manager and head coach of our Gainesville Wild, which is a semi-professional competitive fitness team that we have here representing Gainesville. And they play in the Florida Grid League, which we'll explain a little bit more as we go. But he's also the head coach and owner of CrossFit 352. So here to tell us a little bit about his background and how he's juggling all of these balls in the air at the same time, Adam Muir. What's happening, my friend?
How are you, man?
Good, man. Welcome to the Innovative Back Solutions Studios.
Pleasure to be here.
So the first question I have right off the bat is, what came first? Being honest here, was it the passion for CrossFit or was it the stellar beard? I mean, that is
the CrossFit came a lot.
CrossFit, okay, and then
I started growing.
So grows. Well, that was the same thing with my tattoos.
Oh, there you go.
It was the CrossFit came in, and then I wasn't very much on the growing the beard, just my inability to do so. But I could always get tattoos. So
That's true.
Yeah, and now we blend.
I think I remember you getting the one on the right arm.
The very first one. Yeah, good time. So anyway. Like I said, you cut your teeth in the garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're learning CrossFit. Give us a little bit of background. How do you go from like the garage to next thing you know, general managing a competitive fitness team?
It was a long route. So I worked here. Honestly, I was working here in college. I grew up in Gainesville, and one night I don't remember if you remember Stonewood.
Yeah.
So I was working there, and someone had told me about CrossFit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a group class thing." I'm like, going to the Globo Gym, like doing traditional stuff. I'm like,
sure.
Group class, not my thing.
Right.
And then I saw the games, and I remember seeing like Chris Spieler pushing a dog sled.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that? And then it was on ESPN, so and it came up.
I wonder if we were watching, because we lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah,
about
growing up,
about that
I
time
lived
of
in your
year.
neighborhood. Yeah, so I saw that, and I was like, oh man, that's what CrossFit is. Like, get me. I want to be a part of that. And the next day, I went out, signed up for a local CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
And in my assessment that we were doing and the on-ramping, I just mentioned, I was like, oh, it'd kind of be cool one day to coach. Mm-hmm. And then about 2 months later, the owner came to me and was like, hey, would you like to coach? And I was like, sure, why not? So I was in college. I was, over at UF on a part-time job.
Yeah. And
then one thing led to another, and I graduated UF, ended up going to EMT school, and it was between either going to fire school in Ocala or trying to open a gym. Yeah. And I was like, I'm young, no one's depending on me, so why not try it?
Go for it.
And, 6 years later, here we are.
That's crazy. So all this has happened in 6 years.
Yeah.
So now you went on your own and you opened CrossFit 352. Mm-hmm. When did you do that?
So we opened 2015.
Okay.
We started with a couple partners. We ended up inside of Dark Side Athletics with Ryan Hodge. And we were there for probably a year and a half or two.
Okay.
And then we ended up outgrowing the space, having to move on and look for our own spot. And then we moved over to where we are now in 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And we've been there since that time.
I think that's kind of the cool thing about, CrossFit gym owners is that, it starts very small, very humbly, and really the community kind of builds itself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's based on the results. I know CrossFit in and of itself can't get a bad rap. I think it's always,
That's what you're asking, yeah.
Well, right. I mean, the negative news is always going to get, more playtime. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, they must be doing something right. If people are talking about you, you must be doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to, so it's interesting because Des and I, my wife, got into it for very different reasons. I got into it for the sport, and she got into it for the fitness aspect of going to the gym. So if you're looking at it as a sport, yes, you're going to have tweaks here and there, and it can, you're pushing your body to the limits. I mean, you compete, you go to the games. Where on the other hand, if you're just doing it for a fitness routine, you should be staying relatively healthy, and you might get a tweak once every so often. But if you have a coach that knows what they're doing, then and you're listening to them, obviously you're going to be okay.
Yeah. So it's basically it's just the application.
Exactly.
So now you kind of live in two different worlds. You work with the highly competitive athletes through the Grid League, which, if you're not familiar with what the Grid League is, so in the state of Florida, we have 8 teams, I believe, and you have a season.
Yep.
Now, each week, how long is the season? How many weeks is the season?
So this season, it's essentially 4 like regular season games.
Yeah.
Then we have a conference championship if you make it, which we are starting in October 9th. We have our conference championship. And then if you make that, you're on to the league championship. So there's the Northern Conference and the Southern Conference, and the champions will meet at the end of the season.
Let's, probably a picture or a video is worth 1,000 words. So let's do a quick clip of what a Grid League event or competition looks like. Elio? I like it was at Taylor at the end.
Yeah,
we're done.
He's a monster.
So, yes, I compete in CrossFit as well. To the games, and I had I didn't know what I was getting into. 3 years ago, you invited me to be on this team. Yeah. There's a picture of the old man, and and I thought at the time, well, you needed to have like a master's on every.
So, you used to have to in the National Grid League,
and
then they didn't carry that rule over. So this league is kind of a runoff when the National Grid League couldn't make it because there was just complications.
Yeah.
Mather took over. He was one of the coaches of the Miami Surge.
Yeah.
And he took over and kind of had this farm. No, I don't want to say farm league, but smaller league, kind of took it back to grassroots, similar to how CrossFit grew.
Right.
And over the last, 3 years since I've been involved, I've seen a massive increase in the fan base. And
that, and I think in the organization of it too, it seems really like it's tightening up.
So we're rapidly growing, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Our first year, which was also yours, the 2019 season, we had no idea.
Yeah, well, there's
no idea what we were getting into.
And that video kind of highlights a little bit of it. It's almost like this. It's chaos. It's organized chaos.
That's great. That's a great way to say it. Depending on the race, organized chaos.
Exactly.
For sure.
Where like you go to the CrossFit Games or what have you, it's all very laid out, and but there's a lot going on. So besides just the the lifts or the movements themselves, there's a lot of gamesmanship and teamwork that's got to take place and timing to be successful in that.
Yeah, you have 8 players per gender, so 16 people per match that you're trying to organize and use to their strengths. So what's nice about the Grid League is you don't need a generalist for everything. You'll have your utility athletes, which are doing a little bit of everything,
right?
But then you're going to have your strength specialists and your gymnastics specialists, which is what you were.
Right.
And then you try to use them at the right points in the match.
I was going to say, it's like from your standpoint, it's almost like a chess game, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you probably can't overwork somebody because then they're going to be a little more fatigued for following matches.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Now, you guys had some success last year.
Yeah, and we had so last year we didn't have a regular season because of COVID, so we were shut down. We ended up doing just a tournament, like a weekend-long tournament. We coming in from 2019 as 0-4, we then won our first 4 matches and went to the championship, and we ended up losing to the Fort Lauderdale Lions, which is a very good team.
Very strong.
So, we're excited to be 4-0 again this season, the regular season. So
that's fantastic.
Going into the conference championship, we're hungry. We want to prove that we're here to stay. So
that's excellent.
We'll see how it goes.
So you have a teammate or a team member on the Wild. I heard she's very tough to rile in, but a lot of raw talent. That's your wife. How's that? How's coaching your wife? Because I know how it would go if I'm coaching my wife.
She's good. No. She's great. She listens. She's definitely, we were talking about this last night, she is our go-to person for those grinding movements. Or like the pistol. She's great on our pistol, so we do a lot of weighted pistols with dumbbells, pistol stick overs.
So it's almost like a pistol thruster type of movement.
Pistol thrusters. That one.
It's crazy.
If I need a barbell move that's moderate weight, she's going to be in there because she's quick with it. So She's very good at the utility role that she's in.
So she's come a long way. You said she got
Yes.
into it just as a health and fitness regimen, and
Yeah.
now she's competing
And
at
now
like
she's in it.
these crazy levels.
Oh, well, yeah. So like when 2019, I was like, hey, we have 6 weeks to put a team together.
Yeah.
And normally, you know, the teams have a whole year to
Right.
recruit people. So I was like, Des, you're having to play.
Yeah,
And
you're
like,
in.
I think I signed myself as a player that year too, which was a total mistake. Coaching, there are coaches that do it. They
Yeah.
play like Taylor Stallings.
Oh, she's a coach. I didn't know she was a
Yeah.
coach.
So all the northern coaches also play except myself because
Okay.
I'm just not.
Yeah. No, you just stay on the side.
Can't
with the
do it.
beer.
Yeah, I run around too much. I record my whoop, like my whoop will record my activity, and
Yeah.
I get more of a workout coaching than I do
Is that right?
actually working out. Yeah.
I know. I believe that. I got a buddy who, James, who he goes fishing. He gets in golf. Yes. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah, the whoop. So anyway, so yeah, but you guys have a good bond in doing that.
Yeah. I mean, she and I have the same coach, so we both work with Kyle Ruth at a training think tank. So I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of Atlanta.
Yeah. So I know where her capabilities kind of lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice because you know him and I can speak, and I'm like, where are you guys with this in training?
Yeah.
And you know I see her work out every day too, so I
Right.
kind of know where to.
So
put her to
how's that
succeed.
going over there at now? So yeah, you work with these high level athletes, but you're also working with the accountants and the teachers and
Oh,
the
yeah.
soccer moms, putting together the best hour of their day.
Yeah. So I mean, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world,
Yeah.
honestly. Like this, I never thought this would have been where my career would end up.
Yeah.
Being not just a coach and an athlete, but also a small business owner.
Yeah.
I never would have thought I was doing that, but it's really.
It's got its highs and lows, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. You know. But
it's never a dull moment.
it's really nice to help people, honestly, and
Yeah.
it sounds very cheesy, I think, but it really is nice when someone finally gets that movement or something, or that weight, that PR that they've been trying for weeks or months, and they finally get it because one cue or something where you're like, just lower the hips a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just rip it off the ground. You're like,
Yeah.
it's just really rewarding to
You're
see
right.
that.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah,
like that same cue
absolutely.
is not going to work for Joe
Yeah.
as it does for.
No, you got to
yeah.
have a lot of them in your bag.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's really cool. So, what I like about what you've put together there, that there's obviously a lot of gym options in Gainesville, which is great.
Yeah.
But you've kind of kept pure to the CrossFit paradigm.
Yeah. So I mean, I started with CrossFit. Like I love CrossFit. There was a rocky year for CrossFit with the whole Greg Glassman thing,
Yeah.
and we spoke about not re-affiliating, but then CrossFit, kind of showed the community that they're going to make sure that
Yeah.
the ideals of CrossFit are here to stay.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
family. fitness
right.
for
Both
everyone.
physically, but and
Yeah.
socially too.
Yeah. So, we retained the name. We love it. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
I don't foresee it going anywhere, but I think it works. I think if it's applied properly, it really works for everyday people to be as fit as possible.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm kind of a walking testament to that. I lifted weights my whole life, and it wasn't until, and it may have been the same games that we watched that Spieler
Push that sled.
Yeah,
It was crazy, but
Yeah.
the fact that I remember where I was standing.
same. I know
Yeah.
the couch I was sitting on, the TV I was watching,
Yep.
and that's when I just started pouring through the CrossFit main site.
Yeah.
For all the videos, and I just, essentially just learned in my backyard.
Yeah.
But lifting weights all the while was always very aesthetic to me. I really didn't care about performance, but I wanted to look a certain way, and I never really got there. But as soon as I stopped thinking about what I looked like and focused more on how I performed, all of a sudden things changed, like physically for me.
Absolutely.
So, I think what I learned from it was just working at those higher intensities under fatigue. That just helped. That's how my body responded. And I'm sure everyone's different. I've seen that.
Everyone needs a different adaptation depending on what your body wants to do, what you're capable of doing, whether it's restriction from previous injuries or your training age, how long you've been actually in the I guess functional fitness is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
everyone's going to be a little different. And some people are just going to see a lot better results from like the fast anaerobic type workouts. For others, we're going to strive and see excellence from the aerobic side.
Right.
So
now, what do you do personally?
For my fitness?
Yeah.
A little bit of everything right now. A little bit of everything. So I'm still with Kyle. So we've been battling a back injury for years now. I've been with you for a long time with that. So we're getting back a little more into the competitive CrossFit starting this week. I've been swimming, biking.
That's right. You have a group that meets weekly.
So, we go. I mean, it really depends on what everyone's schedule, but 2 to 3 times a week we try to get over to the pool and swim.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that's been great. That's helped a lot. I feel great doing it, and it's just a new challenge.
Right. Well, and I think the carryover too with, I think what it is it forces you to breathe a particular way.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that. I was doing a workout the other day. I was running, and ask anyone at my gym, I'm not a runner. I'm not notorious for that. But all of a sudden I get out there, I'm like, oh, I don't have water going in my mouth when I'm trying to breathe. This is easy.
This is easy.
This is great. Like, I'm not worried about drowning. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I tried prior to the games this year doing a lot more like kind of nasal breathing. You ever done that?
Oh yeah.
It's challenging. You've got to slow. Well, at least I had to slow things way down to try to maintain that. But I think at one point I got up to like 3 miles just
That's
nasal
impressive.
breathing. It took like a day and a half, but
it's impressive still.
Made it through. But I got to pick that back up. It's crazy how you come across like good habits and you'll ride them for a little while,
but you'll come back to them eventually,
and they fall off. Right.
That's part of being, learning in the sport.
That's it. Just kind of always experimenting. Yeah. So speaking of sport, you say you've got the semis coming up.
Yep. So we have the conference championships coming up in October.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we will actually this will be the first match that we've gone down to the Southern Conference in Miami. So we're on their home turf, which is going to be interesting.
Okay, now, you guys compete out of Tampa.
Yeah, so usually we're out of Tampa. We've done one race this year out of Orlando just because we wanted to go to one of the bigger conferences called Europa. So we had all the teams come up for the first match of the season. We did a big show there. Then for the most part, we're usually out of Tampa, out of Valor Fitness, which is fantastic.
It's a great
giant giant warehouse. They've got all the equipment you need right there, which is nice, and you can walk away with whatever equipment you want to buy from them. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And this time we're going to go down to Freaking CrossFit's new venue. They're building, I can't quite remember, Weston, I believe. So we're going to go down there. It's going to be a brand new facility, so we're excited for that, and we'll see what we can do for the North.
What are they looking to do with the league? You mentioned about the national. Grid League. And I remember watching that on ESPN one night too.
Yeah.
A guy that I competed against several times because like you said, they had to have a master as part
on
of
their
the team. Ron Matthews. He was on that squad. I remember watching him, and then a couple of years later competed against him. Like, you serious?
They were animals back then.
Yeah, I think he played for Vegas.
Okay.
The Vegas team.
Well, so I think for the most part, the overall goal of the league is to get significantly larger. So we've talked about doing televised events. This year we've really upped it. We have some live feeds going on to the matches. So our whole last 2 matches, you could see live feed the whole time.
Yeah.
So the production value is getting a lot better.
Yeah.
And so we're in communication, I think, with some televised.
Now, some of your athletes are from out of state.
Oh, a lot of our athletes from out of state. Yeah.
Really? I remember like on that particular squad that I was on, there was 2 from North Carolina, maybe 1 from Texas.
So we've got like 8 from Texas now.
Really?
I don't know what's in the food out there, but they're monsters.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we've got 8 from Texas, 1 from Arkansas, Michigan, South Carolina. I think that's it, and then the rest are from Florida. But
that's commitment, and they train on their own, but they make the trip here.
Yeah. So a lot of them. At least probably 4 or 5 of them have been doing the Valkyrie training that we have, which is our remote coaching. So, which is nice because I can tailor make their stuff to not only for the ones that want to be competitive in CrossFit, but just sprinkle a little bit of grid skill in there. So
because some of those movements they don't show up in daily watts.
No.
Like reverse
although the
muscle
freestanding handstand push-ups showed up in the games this year.
They did.
Yeah. You would have thrived
all over
at that,
man.
Yeah. But so like double touches, triple touches. which is double touch, not obviously, but double touch
Toes
is
to bar, chest
toe to bar,
to bar.
chest to bar. Triple touch is toe to bar, chest to bar muscle up. So there's some complicated movements within a match.
Yeah.
So that's, again, why you need your specialist, why you need your gymnastics.
So now you mentioned the Valkyrie. Now that's an online coaching program that you do. Yeah. And so folks could contact you from
wherever,
literally all over the world.
Yeah. I've had people as far as Oregon. I've got at least 6 or 7 in Texas right now, just with the team.
Now, what's that program like? So, you do like an online interview, Zoom kind of meetings, or what?
We'll set up a phone call. I'll start the initial phone call, kind of see where your baseline is, where, if you've been training for a few years, how long have you been training, what are your goals, any limitations, right? So I want to get as much background as possible on you. And then we kind of set a game plan of where we're going to go from here.
Yeah.
A lot of it's limited on the access to equipment. So I have some people at home who have very limited access. They're going to do dumbbells, kettlebells, a lot of body weight movements, and maybe some pull-ups and jump rope. Yeah. And then the other people have, they have full access to gyms, so their programming is totally different for them. The goal is obviously not to make a Gen Pop programming, but it's something specifically designed for that athlete to exceed.
What their goals are.
Yeah.
What's most requested? What do most people like?
It's pretty 50-50. So a lot of them are competitive CrossFit athletes that want to get more into the competitive CrossFit world. So we're going to do a lot more of that traditional CrossFit, like progressive overloading of squats and stuff. So increasing the strength. And we'll run obviously different cycles like you would in most programs of if you're doing some pulling, some weightlifting, some gymnastics density, all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on mostly where we are in the season. If they're trying to go to the games, we're going to have to tailor it to have them peak to get to the games. If they just want to be healthy, happy, and fit, then we're going to go from there and kind of have a steady
sort of annual
sustainable thing, a sustainable pace for the whole year. So they're staying healthy all year round. They're not avoiding injury. They're able to go out and play with their kids,
Yeah. I like the whole avoiding injury thing. I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, that's important. That's really important. So.
There hasn't been a games that I've been to that 20% of the field don't finish the week. I was almost one of them this year. Hopefully that's the closest I get.
It's rough. I mean, and that's looking at CrossFit as a sport versus as a fitness regimen.
And that's where the lines are blurred for a lot of people maybe considering it. They're like, I just hear there's too much injury to it.
Yeah, they get intimidated by it. And
but again, it's
assure them that we're here to help you. We're not here to injure you. We're going to make sure that you're doing it properly so you're getting something out of the workout. Because if we can't get you in shape, then that falls on us as coaches and gym owners. Like, that's our job. So if we can't help you, then we're pretty bad at our job.
I get that. Like if I think of it from my perspective, as a chiropractic perspective, like my goal is when I see a patient is to get them out of pain and functional as quickly as possible. Yeah. And if we're not there, I mean it's frustrating as a practitioner. I mean, I'm not frustrated with the patient, but
it's like a puzzle. And it's like, why can't you solve that puzzle?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love my patients. I don't want to have to see them every week, right? When we get them better, then graduate them, move them along.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now, like Bergeron, Coach Bergeron talks a lot about that. It's like it's 99% of his members, they're not going for the games. They want to live long, strong, happy lives and train like this well into their 90s.
I think he said the goal is to push off the nursing home as long as possible. I believe that's one of his quotes. Is I firmly believe in a lot of the things he has to say in his podcasts and stuff. So I try to emulate that with our programming.
Yeah, my wife's been doing a lot more I don't want to say bodybuilding, but just weightlifting. Just to as we start looking into the next second half of our lives, right? I think the more musculature density you have to your body, the easier it is on the joints. You're more durable.
I mean, there's at least one day a week in my own program that I'll do some bodybuilding stuff, just accessory work. You need to have the stability in the joints. To do the lifts that we do. Especially at the intensity or the volume that we do, you need to have the stability and the flexibility in your body to do that.
I used to be embarrassed to say that, and I wouldn't. tell anybody, like, I do my CrossFit program, but on the side, I would always do like some bodybuilding workouts. And at least I was almost embarrassed to say that, but I think what that has done for me is kind of made me a little more durable.
Yeah, and I don't know where, like,
and also it's better to call it accessory work.
Yeah,
I do accessory work, babe. It's not bro sesh.
There's this weird association of that in the CrossFit world that bodybuilding is bad. Like a bicep curl is useless. It's not useless.
I agree.
Like, those movements are still useful. They can help you with other.
It goes back and forth. I was telling you a little earlier about the Mind Pump, the podcast we listen to. And it's not that they're anti-CrossFit, but they know that's. Oh, they are, but they know that it's oftentimes misapplied.
Yeah.
And so they'd be kind of embarrassed to say that they do some CrossFit style workouts, and I guess probably the same way I was embarrassed to say I do some bodybuilding type of workouts. But let's just all be open about it. We all do a little bit of everything, right?
Who doesn't love like an arm pump, like a big bicep pump?
Bench and curling.
Exactly.
Have you ever done have you heard of a marathon set?
No.
Oh, you got to try this. And really, you could probably just do it with an empty easy bar or a 35-pound barbell. You do a single rep with the curl, single rep, and then a double, and then a triple, and then four,
goodness.
And you climb
the ladder
all the way to 20. Now, eventually, you're going to have to put the bar down, shake out, and then pick up right where you left off. So say you went unbroken through 8s, put the bar down. Your next set is going to be a set of 9, then a set of 10.
Yeah.
So over up to 20, I think it's like 200 reps. Blows it up.
That's horrible.
Oh, it is. It's horrendous, but it's beautiful.
I bet. You feel great after.
If you really want to dial that in, do a little blood flow restriction bands.
Have you ever tried that?
I have. I have a set, but I won't do it on my arms.
No, I do it on the legs sometimes.
The legs I will, yeah.
That's just getting on the assault bike and casually.
Oh, you're the one who told me about the assault bike, doing it on the assault bike.
It's not fun.
I've got to try that.
You think the assault bike burns when you don't have it on?
Yes.
Try it with that.
I probably will tonight. We're going to do air assault. It's my rest day, so that would be a good rest day. Activity.
It could be a rest day activity.
Cool, just a.
You don't have to go fast. I can tell you that. I promise you don't have to go fast to make it suck.
I'm looking forward to that. Yes, I forgot all about that. But yeah, I won't do it on the arms. You can use, if you're not familiar with the blood flow restriction, the tight bands, they restrict blood flow out of the muscle, so blood gets into the muscle, but it's slow to retract, and they say that kind of stimulates muscle fiber development. Yeah.
So under less strain, essentially. So if you're worried about injury, you can still continue to train the muscle.
Right, I like that. So with lower loads. Yeah, lighter loads. So no, that's excellent. So like I said, you've got a lot going on here. How can people get to see what Adam's going on between CrossFit 352, the Florida Grid League, and the Gainesville Wild, and then also your online Valkyrie programming? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if you want to see it, we're on obviously Instagram on all of those, Facebook on all of those as well. Just look them up, Valkyrie. It's under VKY Training.
VKY Training on Instagram.
And then 352 Fitness and Gainesville Wild on both. So, I mean, the best place to follow the Florida Grid League is the FGL main site. And you're going to get all the teams. What's nice is if we're in Gainesville, obviously, you kind of want to follow a Gainesville team, which is the idea of bringing it here. I thought it'd be a pretty decent crowd here.
That's right, because you were Jacksonville.
Yeah, so the first year we bought them in 2019, we were out of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then 2020, we were able to rebrand to Gainesville.
Yeah. So no, that's great. With now, are they looking to expand more teams in?
I think that's the goal eventually. We haven't discussed that as a league as a whole yet. So depending on how the upcoming seasons go with sponsorships and how the growth of the league actually continues.
Yeah.
I think we'd love to see more teams join.
I think it would be cool if you have different states.
Yeah.
And now you've got a state champ, and now you have more of a national competition.
They're working on, before COVID, they were working on a league called the AGL, which is the Atlantic Grid League.
Okay.
And actually our assistant coach was in charge of that before he was our assistant coach. And COVID kind of took a turn against it for a while. But they're building that back up. They're going to start with some grid 6s, which are just smaller matches with smaller teams.
I saw that. Now, is that still going to be a 3-and-3 kind of
so it's 3 male, 3 female, which is cool. So, I mean, we tried to get one going here, a pseudo grid 6 event, which would have been 2-and-2.
Yeah.
but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice to bring just the local group of athletes into the realm of grid, but maybe one day we'll get it again. But
still could. So different gyms could have representation.
Yes, exactly.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it would have run as though a grid match would run. So where you normally have a CrossFit event, you're there all day.
Right.
You're there. You do one event, you rest 3 hours. You do one event, you rest 3 hours.
Yeah.
Grid is you're going to do, at least for Florida Grid League, you're there. It's an hour and a half long match.
Yeah.
Like that is it. You do one race, rest 5 minutes. One race, rest 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we were going to run something similar to that, where it was you do 3 races, you rest for 2 hours, you do 3 races, because they're all short races under 5 minutes.
Well, and like you said, you have so many specialists that which it was nice. Like you work really hard for 45 seconds,
and then you're taking a break. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Is if you're a good sprinter, this is your sport.
That's for you.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, hey, one question for you.
Yeah.
Before we leave here, before we say goodbye, if you could pick one exercise to do for the rest of your life, and only one, what would it be?
I'm going to go with thrusters on that one.
Yeah. Thruster, that was my original. Tell me why.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. It's, you got to pull it to get it off the ground. You got to squat. You got to brace your core. You got to press overhead.
Yeah.
You can go fast with light weight or or slower with heavier weight for strength. Like, a little bit of everything with it. So, and they just aren't horrible.
So you love Fran then?
Oh, no. Fran's my enemy.
There you go. Well, Adam, thank you very much for joining us today and explaining a little bit more about what the Florida Grid League is and the Gainesville Wild. It's been cool to know that we have like I said, a semi-professional team right here in our town.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Thanks.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Check out the Florida Grid League. It's a lot of fun, crazy activity. And if you're looking to get a little, explore your fitness at a more personal level, look at them up on VKY.
Yep.
On Instagram. All right, guys, have a great week. Awesome.